Well, hello, hello, hello. Much love to you all. May God bless you all. I have done numerous videos about the red heifers and the temple and all that. I will share at the end of this many links that go to many videos that I have done on this. But I had seen 4 days ago an article on Israel 365 News about the red heifers and what a Hebrew media news outlet is saying about the red heifers. So let's get into it. Do not forget to hit the like button to help spread this. It's not to make money for the channel or anything. It's to help fight the algorithm system that does not like anything that talks about Bible. It says Hebrew media claims Christians brought red heifer to Israel to establish Antichrist. Now we know in Numbers chapter 19 is where we get a lot of the talks about the red heifer. So it says that a Channel 12, a Hebrew language news site, published an article on Sunday accusing the Prime Minister Benjamin of allocating resources to a project aimed at building a third temple on the Temple Mount. The article blames Christians for bringing the red heifers to Israel. This Channel 12 article cites a project by this man, Israel, an organization that brings together Jews and Christians. Now, I did a video talking about the Jews and the Christians coming together for the Temple Mount ceremony of the red heifers. This is in cooperation with the Temple Institute, done many videos on this. So we know that there was successfully imported 5 red calves in September to Israel from Texas for the purpose of raising them for the biblical commandment found in Numbers 19. The red heifer was the main component in the biblical mandate process of ritual purification for the impurity that results from the proximity or contact with a dead body. Also did a video, which I'll try to find all these and put them at the end, where it talks about they're trying to raise up a new generation of Levites that have not touched a dead body. So because the elements needed for the ceremony have been lacking since the destruction of the second temple, all Jews today are considered ritually impure. Now we know, according to the Bible, Jesus has made us ritually clean. So, but they don't think so. So, this is where we get in the crossroads of why are Christians, if they're true Christians, intermingling with the Jews for the concept of bringing a red heifer, knowing that Christ is the last sacrifice. The red heifer is here to bring a ceremonial cleanness that the Messiah has already brought amongst being born again and accepting him as your Lord and Savior. You are spiritually clean. This article noted that the Temple Institute was founded by a rabbi who was a former member of a right-wing party, which was declared illegal by the Israeli government. So the article claimed that this rabbi is a spiritual patron of the Minister of National Security. This article claimed that the Prime Minister Benjamin's government is complacent. Now, a few years ago, they submitted a design proposal for the construction of a Mount of Olives temple, you could say, and the officials who were involved in planning the claim that its route is intended to serve, among other things, the future ceremony of burning the red heifer, the article wrote. But there was many issues that had popped up, blaming the Ministry of Agriculture for issuing permits for importing the red calves. The article also noted that these calves are exempt because their ears have been tagged and this would render them unfit. So the article also noted that the Minister of Jerusalem and Heritage, Nathaniel Isaac, attended the ceremony at this international airport when the calves arrived, citing this as proof that the Prime Minister Benjamin's government is paving the way for the third temple. Now, we know we are the temple as well, but they are still in the constructs for years of trying to establish a third temple. So This article quoted from this doctor, a research fellow at the Shalom Hartman Institute, who claimed that Christians are involved in the project in order to help bring the temple of the Antichrist. The Antichrist, the Satan, one might say, needs to come here and defile the temple, this guy had noted. Then the war of Gog and Magog begins, and 2/3 of the Jews die, and 1/3 of them convert over to the Messiah. The world doesn't exactly last either. It's such a biblical disaster, is what he put. So the arrival of the red cows in Israel was not carried out or budgeted by the ministry. The director general of the ministry participated in the ceremony of their arrival privately and during the tenure of the previous government. The plan for this temple and this ceremony going on was intended for tourism purposes and not for the benefit of the red cow fire. So, this Ministry of Agriculture stated in response, an import license for the source is granted as long as the country is approved for the type of import requested. The U.S. has been approved for this for about a year. The calves mentioned in the article were imported for breeding purposes and met all the import conditions that were required. So, despite the uproar amongst Arab media, Al Jazeera cited that Dr. Salah, a researcher in Jewish Zionists and a political affairs person, as saying that in the light of the current Palestinian and regional circumstances, that the Prime Minister Benjamin's government, the time is ripe to realize the myth of building this alleged third temple. All parties in the government coalition including the Likud party, agree among themselves on the need to continue preparations for the construction of the temple, preparations of the priest's clothing, the raising of the red heifer, and the strengthening of the position of the chief rabbi. He went on to claim that the idea of rebuilding the temple has become rooted even among large segments of Israeli secular and liberal movement, as well as among circles of so-called Jewish Zionist left. Now, despite the preparations going on and the budget issues, they're saying that they reason that Prime Minister Benjamin government is not currently building the temple in the courtyard of the Temple Mount, pointing out that this would be a suicidal step for the Israeli entity, knowing also that the Temple Mount is widely used between the Christian, the Judaism, and the Arab nations. So it would be kind of a suicidal step to put this here, which would ignite a religious uprising. And it really would. We know that many times the Jewish people have tried to bring a lamb for a sacrifice up there, and there's been many battles that have happened on trying to do that. The temple includes a biblical council, the Sanhedrin, as well, deciding and prosecuting according to Jewish religion provisions, and paves the way for the preparation of the king, or the so-called chief rabbi, who does not necessarily rule in the democratic manner. So either way, we see that there's continued talks of this. They even posted on Facebook an appeal to save the red cows, and it has garnered a petition of 5,700 signatures since last week alone. So there's so much going on in the world. It's so easy to get distracted from the truth. It's so easy to get distracted from trying to have a relationship with the Messiah and reading the Bible every day, that sometimes we need to just sit back and we need to rest. We need to sit back and we need to talk to the Father. Ask Him anything. Just realize some things you may ask is not in the will of the Father. I mean, if we're asking for things that are totally out of the will, then of course it's not going to happen. And even if it is in his will, it's not going to happen in our timing. It's going to happen in his timing. We're living in an age of things are escalating, speeding up, rumors of wars. The Messiah told us this would happen. War talk has been going on even more and more the past 2 weeks than it was 2 weeks ago. There's so much going on that the world is in a distraction. There's distractions everywhere. Liberal movements everywhere that are distracting. Political movements that are distracting. We see the signs of the times. We know the days we're in. We've got to seek Christ while time is still available. So much love to you all. May God bless you all. And tomorrow I will be live doing the book of John chapter 4 at 7 p.m. Eastern.